Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk a little bit about the text tool in Photoshop. A lot of times I have visual composition, but it's nice to add font or writing to that actual picture, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click on the T, and you'll notice that instantly all of the tools that are associated with the font tool or text tool come available up over here, okay? So I can choose styles of font, right? I can also choose how that font's applied. I can choose the size of the font, okay, by choosing its point size. I can choose whether the style of the font is going to come across, sharp, crisp, strong, and smooth. I can choose its alignment, aligning left, aligning middle, or aligning to the right, in terms of how it comes on. This is actually for color, once I actually have a font layer on there. And this is for actually, as it says, create warped text. And you can go ahead and see that when I click on an image, okay, it instantly creates a new layer for me for that text. So that text exists separate from all the other layers below it, okay? And now when I start to type, okay, you can see that right now it's showing me the color of that font right up over here. And when I hit return, it drops down a line as well, just the same way you would in a word processing document. So I'm going to go ahead and type in here, Live the Dream. Now you notice how part of the font is cut off, okay? Well, I can move this font, right? I just click back on the Move tool, and now since it's its own layer, I can grab it and slide it on up, okay? Now if I didn't like the style of the font, or if I wanted to change the color, right, I could always click back on the text tool, make sure that I'm working on that layer, and highlight it just by clicking and dragging it, okay? And now go back in and actually change the color to something else that I like, okay? Now with font, it's always nice to give font a little 3D look, okay? So in this case, it looks kind of flat, right? So I'm going to select this layer, and I'm going to go up to Layer, Layer Style, and I'm going to add a drop shadow, okay? Notice how instantly I gave it this really nice shadow around it. I can, of course, increase the distance of that or make it a little bolder, okay? But other nice things too is that I could add glows to it if I wanted, like an outer glow, right? This is where the Layer Styles palette really comes in handy when you're working with font. And you can see quite easily I make font look very dynamic. It has edges, it's glowing, okay, and it really looks like it's popping off the page. All right? So this is kind of just the basics of font. Now watch, I can also do a couple other things. If I highlight this and I wanted to change the style of it, I could go up to this tool right here, which is called the Create Warped Text. And when I look at that, I have all these other options that I can use to bend my text in different ways if I want to, okay? So just to look for twist, for instance, you see how it twists all my font into different shapes, and then I can play with that bend, right? So I can get it to bend the way I want it to. Sometimes that's kind of fun, just to do some different styles in your font, and kind of makes the font more fluid. So you can see now when I click off of it, that's the way it looks. I'm not too crazy about that, so I'm going to undo that, okay? If I can't undo just by hitting Apple Z, I could always go back to the History tool right here and click back, and that would take it back to its basic form. Alright, so that's just the little basics on the text tool. Go ahead and enjoy.